Let's begin today's Vanguard news with you dusting off your old Eugene cards as he and his Dust Storm Brigade are getting new supports in DZBT-05. Double Gun of Dust Storm Bart is your typical D-series starter which has no bearing to the new ride line and makes you question why does Bushiroad Road keep making new starting Vanguards but won't make new vanilla triggers. Colorful Strike of Dust Storm Charles, when ridden over by Roaring Bullet of Dust Storm Ranode, lets you add up to 1 Dust Storm card from the top 5 cards of your deck. Certainly an improvement over Nigel, but this also makes it that you have to run more Dust Storm cards and less generic cards just to be consistent enough to work. Take it from a Thegria main who only has 10 potential targets with the grade 2 Thegria skill. Roaring Bullet of Dust Storm Ranode when ridden over by a grade 3 Eugene card lets you pay 3 energy to draw 2 cards then put 1 card in hand into your soul. And while on Vanguard or Rear Guard, he gets 5k power when he attacks if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards. This is probably the first ride line card in the game that uses energy for its skill. That also makes energy cyclers like Falhard sort of irrelevant. The only downside to his skill is putting a card in hand into your soul instead from the drop zone like Randy did. Inferno of Dust Storm Eugene while on Vanguard is also regarded as heavy artillery of Dust Storm Eugene. Once per turn while on Vanguard, you can put 2 of your rear guards in rest state to retire all of your opponent's rear guards in 1 column. And once per turn while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counter and Soul Blast when he attacks a Vanguard to call up to 2 grade 3 or lower cards in the same column from the top 5 cards of your deck. Then he gets 5k power. Then units called by this ability get 5k power if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher and they have 3 or more open rear guard circles. Eugene was finally given an ability that isn't overcosted and lets him do up to 6 attacks assuming you have Oswald and Durgam. Overall this upgrade has been long overdue, more so than Ezreal Vermilion and Maelstrom getting their upgrades. But this probably won't be enough to make the deck more viable. Artillery Barrage of Dust Storm Helens while on Rear Guard makes you stand herself at the start of your battle phase if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards. And while on the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k shields if you have a Dust Storm Vanguard. The only thing this card has going for is the ability to stand after being rested for Eugene's skill. Even then there's like better options. Finally, Brilliant Bullet of Dust Storm Ragnet while on Rear Guard lets you pay 1 Soul Blast and resting herself if you have a grade 3 or higher Eugene Vanguard to retire an opponent's rear guard. And while on Rear Guard, she stands herself and gets 5k power at the start of your battle phase if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards. I find it funny that both waifu cards revealed tonight stands themselves at the start of the battle phase because Eugene made them rest in Ordinuka column. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments how Eugene still doesn't stand a chance against the bikini clad researcher and her edgy harem.